Donald Trump's closing message in the final weeks and days of this campaign continues to get stranger and stranger. Of course, we know he is always going to be talking about his favorite subjects like windmills or Hannibal Lecter, but the enemies that he's chosen to make with such little time left in this election just go to show how deranged he is. Because someone Donald Trump continues to set his sights on is his Fox propaganda network. Yes, Donald Trump is constantly going to war with Fox for some reason, and it's just because he expects them to be constantly holding his hand, and so when they're not, he loses his mind. And that's exactly what happened today. Donald Trump absolutely losing it on Fox, going out and attacking them in the funniest possible way, not only because it humiliates Fox, but also because it humiliates Donald Trump. And I want to get into all of that, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way in supporting the community that we're building on this channel, and it really means a lot to me. Now, before we get into what Donald Trump had to say on Truth Social about Fox and his meltdown, I think we should play one of the clips that has really gotten him upset, just for a bit of context.
Your Minnesota record, this is a piece written in the Wall Street Journal by a longtime Minneapolis resident and attorney there. He says, under Mr. Walz, Minnesota's become a high-crime state. Student achievement has tumbled as spending on schools has skyrocketed. Per capita gross domestic product has fallen below the national average. And he says Minnesotans have joined the residents of New York, California, and Illinois, fleeing their home states, and notes that you were elected by a much tighter margin the second time around than you were the first time, because he says people are leaving with their feet and their votes, and that they don't like the way that you govern Minnesota.
Yeah, well, I won by nearly 8 points on that. What I would say is it's a Republican writing that. I wouldn't be surprised by it. The fact of the matter is Minnesota is recognized as a top 5 business state, top 3 state to raise children. We are number 1 in healthcare. Crime in America is at a 50-year low. Contrast that to Donald Trump's time in office.
But they're talking about crime in Minnesota.
Yes, and you can look at the statistics. You can see where we're at. We certainly know that during the Trump years, we saw murders go up and things, but they're all coming down. The country, 50-year low, same thing here. So I think contrasting to that, look, this is about Donald Trump going to Detroit and saying Detroit stinks. This is about Republicans saying Minnesota's not good. This is where they go to states. Donald Trump actually going so far as to saying maybe I won't give disaster aid to states that vote blue. Kamala Harris wants to be a president for all Americans. Kamala Harris is not going to divide states based on where they're at. This is just, it's simply not the case. We simply have a high quality of life that we're very proud of. I would invite folks to come to Minneapolis, come visit the 5-0 Minnesota Vikings, and you'll see a state that's thriving, a state that's building homes, a state that's focusing on the middle class and jobs.
As I said at the beginning of this video, Donald Trump always expects Fox to be his personal propaganda outlet, and he's said it before and continues to say it, that they are bringing the enemy on when a Democrat makes an appearance. And so when Tim Walz goes on Fox and absolutely shuts down the host and speaks so incredibly well about not only Kamala Harris's successes, not only his successes, but the agenda that they have for the future, to an audience that rarely hears that agenda or rarely hears the truth for that matter, it is so upsetting to Donald Trump and it drives him crazy. And that is why he is attacking Fox and their anchors. But it's not just the conservative anchors who get shut down by Democrats who Donald Trump is attacking. So before we get into his post, I quickly want to check out the liberal anchor who Donald Trump is really mad at.
You see someone, this God Bless America Bible that he has, that he printed 120,000 copies of, in China, so the America First guy that's producing his Bible in China, costs $3 to make it. He's hawking them for $59.99 here. Those are things that people who are actually religious, who care about it, are looking at it and saying, like, is this guy just a huckster?
People who are evangelical and Catholic should read the Bible. It's unmistakably clear on life, and that just means priests.
Well, should it be printed in China if he's the America First guy? Should he be hawking Bibles?
You know what it is?
Do you have the God Bless America Bible?
I have the New Testament.
Jessica, whether it's this.
Mr. Tough on China is selling Chinese Bibles. Yes, Bibles made in China. The grift was sad enough already that Donald Trump was hawking Bibles or sneakers or watches or crypto or whatever given grift he is trying to push to his supporters. But the fact that they're made in China, really, Donald, I guess it shouldn't be a shock at this point. It should be the expectation, but such a perfect call out from Jessica Tarloff. One Donald Trump did not take too kindly to, because he called her out by name in his absolute meltdown on Truth Social that we got to check out right here. Donald Trump took to Truth Social writing, "Fox News spends so much time interviewing the other side that we must win despite them. So crazy. People like Fowler, Wolf, Murphy, Tarloff, and others with little or no competent pushback. They want to be fair and balanced just like CNN and MSDNC. Conservatives want a real voice. The two new readers, AN and ES on Now, are terrible." Donald Trump absolutely begging Fox to be strictly propaganda all the time, and clearly upset with one specific anchor, Jessica Tarloff, as he referred to her as, but we know the case with Donald Trump. He only misspells the name of the people who are crushing him the most. Jessica Tarloff and Kamala Harris sharing some exclusive property on that list. Surely a compliment when Donald Trump is that upset with the two of them, because it shows that they are getting under his skin. But like I've always said, he cannot handle it if Fox is not his complete propaganda network. Every second of every day of every week, Donald Trump absolutely loses it. And that's why clips like this from Pete Buttigieg are absolutely incredible.
Affect them the most, whether we're talking about choice and her stance on defending a woman's right to choose versus Donald Trump, who eliminated a right to choose in this country.
Well, he sent it back to the states, to be fair.
Let's be very clear. He is proud of the fact that he demolished the national right to choose in this country, period.
But there are states that are figuring this out. I mean, there are some that are, I mean, it's nearly impossible, a 6-week ban or less. But there are others, there are states in this country that allow no restrictions up until the due date of a child.
There was a national right to choose in this country, law of the land, for 50 years, which the vast majority of Americans believed was the right thing to do. But Donald Trump made a promise when he was a candidate, one of the few promises he actually kept, by the way. You know, he didn't keep his promise of 6% economic growth. He didn't keep his promise to drain the swamp.
He did have a pandemic to deal with.
Well, but even before the pandemic, even before the pandemic, America went into a manufacturing recession, which really hurt places like where I come from in the industrial Midwest. But anyway, my point is, he broke his promise for that kind of economic growth. He broke his promise to pass an infrastructure bill, right? He said he would do that. He failed to do it. The Biden-Harris administration got it done. He even broke his promise to that January 6th mob when he said, "I will be at your side when you march down to the Capitol." But he actually did keep two promises. He kept his promise to destroy the right to choose in this country, and he kept his promise on tax cuts for the rich.
So much sweeter when it's on Fox, because that is an audience that rarely hears the truth, and Pete delivers it so well. He knows exactly how to talk about not only the successes of the Democratic Party in contrast with the failures of Donald Trump, but about the future and the coalition that we are trying to build that is a big tent. For God's sake, Dick Cheney and Liz Cheney have endorsed Kamala Harris. We want to bring everyone in, where Donald Trump wants to push everyone out. And he does so with his unhinged speeches and his complete illiteracy on policy, as we can see right here.
Your thinking is the threat of a 200% tariff will stop them from taking the car. So you won't actually have to do it, so you're not going to actually push prices higher.
I never until now I said 200. I'm using that just as a figure.
But you say 200 a lot.
Oh, I'll say 100, 200, I'll say 500. I don't care.
Once again, Donald Trump, even in an interview where he's having his hand held, cannot find his way into basic competency, really just admitting there that he doesn't understand how tariffs work, and he's just willing to lie and shout any number that comes to his head because he has lost it so badly. He doesn't know what he's doing at this point. He doesn't have a message. It's why he's attacking Fox News or the Fox propaganda outlet, because there's never really any real news on there, except for the times where we see Jessica Tarloff or maybe a Pete Buttigieg or this ad from the Kamala Harris campaign that's running on Fox.
In 2016, Donald Trump said he would choose only the best people to work in his White House. Now those people have a warning for America. Trump is not fit to be president again. Here's his vice president.
Anyone who puts himself over the Constitution should never be president of the United States. It should come as no surprise that I will not be endorsing Donald Trump this year.
His defense secretary.
Do you think Trump can be trusted with the nation's secrets ever again?
No. I mean, it's just irresponsible action that places our service members at risk, places our nation's security at risk.
His national security advisor.
Donald Trump will cause a lot of damage. The only thing he cares about is Donald Trump.
And the nation's highest-ranking military officer.
We don't take an oath to a king or a queen or to a tyrant or a dictator.
We don't take an oath to a wannabe dictator.
Take it from the people who knew him best. Donald Trump is a danger to our troops and our democracy. We can't let him lead our country again.
The people who know Donald Trump best know that he is unfit for the presidency. He was in 2016, he was in 2020, and he currently is now more so than ever. And that's why Kamala Harris continues to push this message. She did a great job in a speech right here.
And the people who know him best know it. His former national security advisor, 2 of his former defense secretaries, his former chief of staff in the White House, his own vice president, have all warned America Donald Trump is unfit to serve.
Let's just go to the ballot box and make it happen. Let's never have to hear from this guy again. Nobody wants to. Not even the people closest to him want him to win. Melania doesn't want him to win. So let's do this one for Melania. No, let's do this one for democracy. Let's be real. Let's be serious. We're going to keep talking about this stuff every single day on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.